Friends, stop scrolling if you need some cheap and easy Christmas decor ideas that look expensive. Today I'm going to show you 10 Dollar Tree Christmas crafts that you can make this holiday season. They're cute, they're cozy, they're budget friendly, and they work up wicked fast. Friends, thank you so much for being here. Now let's get to those projects. Okay, we're going to start off strong and make an adorable, super sweet project. That's huge. It's an oversized piece of candy. It's going to be so much fun. For this project, we're going to use this is just regular Mod Podge. I also have this. Now, you can get this clear wrapping paper from Dollar Tree. I just happen to have a coupon. I also have some stripy wrapping paper and this wood round. So I start by taking the tag off, and then I'm adding a fairly good amount of Mod Podge to our round, and then just brush it on, make sure it's nice and smooth. Then once that's all brushed on and nice and smooth, you want to dry it. Now, I used a little heat tool to dry mine to force it to dry fast because I don't have time to wait. Yeah, I know. Maybe you do. Anyway, so here it is. I'm drying it. You just want to make sure that there aren't any big clumps of Mod Podge, or else it's going to dry unevenly. So once it's all dry, then I take my wrapping paper and I'm going to cut it down, obviously, so that I have squares that'll fit more reasonably to our wood round. So I'm just going to cut it apart. If you can cut wrapping paper in a straight line, I tip my hat to you. I cannot. All right, so here we have a nice big square. I'm going to put it on. This is so easy. You're going to be so excited. I put that on, and then I'm just going to take my little iron that I got from Walmart and just iron the wrapping paper onto the dried Mod Podge round. Easy, right? Like, come on. Then I'm going to take, immediately after I'm done ironing, I use my brayer. You can use like a water bottle even. Just roll something on it so that it forces it to really adhere. Then I used a sander and I just sanded the excess. I did the same thing on the other side. Mod Podge, let it dry, cut out our wrapping paper, put it on, iron it, bray it, sand it, right? Like same song, second verse. I do the brayer again because I find that I don't get a lot of lumps and bumps that way. Like sometimes you get air pockets. This way I don't. All right, so here we have this clear wrapping paper. Again, you can get it at Dollar Tree. I just happen to have a coupon at the Michaels, so I used it. And I'm just going to overshoot it, right? Like we want to be able to wrap the round in it. So that's what I'm doing here. And I'm not being super exact either, though. So there's that. I'm not even using tape. So easy. So then I'm just going to scrunch one end. Can you see what I'm making? Like it's going to be a stupid oversized candy, and I'm there for it. So cute. Now I am using little twist ties. If you wanted to do, I thought later, like maybe some ribbon on the ends would have looked even better, but you do what you feel is necessary. And then I'm going to go and do the same thing on the other side, twist it a couple times so that it's easier to put the twist tie on, and then put my twist tie on it. I did do that, twist it a few times so that it really stays on there. Then I fluffed out the end so that it looks like candy and quit it. Like, look at how cute this is. You could put it on a door. You could put it, just as a sign hanging on your wall. How festive. So sweet, right? All right, well, staying with the candy theme, let's go to the primitive route and make some beautiful fabric candy canes. Get ready, friends. We're going to make some really pretty fabric candy canes. They're going to be primitive and vintage looking, and I'm there for it. So for this project, we're going to be using some homespun fabric. It's a jelly roll I got from Jubilee Fabric. I also have these little rollers that I had gotten from Dollar Tree. So here's that jelly roll, right? And we're going to cut it into thirds. So it's probably, I don't know, I want to say maybe a ½ an inch per slice. And then I'm just going to tear them into strips. Now I'm using the smaller of the two. It's like a more narrow of the two curlers. Put a little dot of glue on top, and then we're just going to put a little piece of that fabric on top. Ta-da! We're going to do that for both ends. Is there an easier way to do this? Probably, but this is the way that I found that it worked best for me. So we have that on there, and then we're going to add another little dot of glue, and we're going to take the longer piece of fabric, and we're just going to start wrapping it. And I just did a little bit of glue wrap. Now I found that putting the glue on the fabric instead of on the curler actually worked better because that curler is like a styrofoam kind of thing and it melts. So just my opinion, I put it only on the fabric. And then again, just glue wrap all the way down. then you're going to get to the very end. And I found that if I glued those little ends that we put over the end of our curler, if I glued those down, it was a little bit easier to manage when I started to wrap the other fabric around it. Otherwise, you're constantly having to chase it and push it back down again. That's just my opinion. However it works for you, though, do it. But look how cute this is already. I love it. So again, just wrap, wrap, wrap. Then you're going to cut off the excess. And then look how cute. I love this fabric. This Jubilee fabric is, listen, I love this homespun. I don't know where it's been my whole life, but I just found it and I'm so excited. Anyways, all right, so we cut off the excess. We did another little dot of glue on the very end of our fabric just to adhere the end, and that's it. Now, you could do just little strips like this, but I decided I'm going to do a curl to it, so we're going to do like a real candy cane. And because these are wire inside, it works perfectly. Look at how cute. Now, I went one step further and took a little rusty star on mine with some jute and just tied a quick little knot and did that. Then I added some on the others. I did bells. You could do anything. You don't have to do anything at all, but I thought it gave just the next level of awesome, primitive kind of farmhouse vibe. But again, that's me. I know some people, this isn't their vibe, but look how cute. What? I love it so much. So cute. And it's going to work perfect in my little bowl that we did our ornaments with our jadeite ornaments. Yeah, look at what? It's perfect. I love it so much. Okay, coming up next, you're either going to be really happy with me or really mad at me. So for this, I'm going to use some chalk paint. The color is drop cloth. I also have this paint. It's like a champagne gold. And then I have these jars. Again, I got them from Dollar Tree. One is like trees. One is candy canes. And I think the other one is like snowflakes. You know, just Christmas kind of vibe, right? So here we have each of our little jars. Now, I did not do the very bottom. You want to do the bottom, do the bottom. I am just painting on. Now, for me, I think it works when you have all of these little tiny pieces, parts that are, you know, sticking up. I find I put some paint on my brush and I swirl my brush on instead of just painting. Swirling it gets it in the nooks and crannies, and it also doesn't leave big globs of paint. That's just me. If you have a better way to do it, tell me in the comments. But this is the way I found easiest. Now, yes, I do have to do a second coat on this because you're going to see brush strokes and all of the things, but it's okay. We can do a second coat. This stuff, I'm using Dixie Belle paint, and man, it dries so fast that doing a second coat isn't a big deal. I do, though, want to just make sure you let your paint really dry. If you don't, it can smear and kind of pull off, and we don't want that. The other thing is you can seal these jars. I didn't because they're just decorative for me. Here we are. I let my jars dry. Now we're doing a second layer and look at how good it looks. Now we could just leave it like this, right? I mean, that looks so pretty. I think it looks really beautiful. But you know who I am. I've got to junk it up because, you know, that's what I love. So we're going to paint each of our jars with that second coat. And I got to be honest, put a pretty little messy bow on this, and that also would be good. And I was tempted, I'll be honest, because I was tired. And I was like, I don't want to do any more crafts today. But you know what? I was like, you know what? I'm here for my primitive loving friends. And so I didn't give up. I know, it's not that serious. I get it. Anyway, so we did our second layer. You want to make sure that dries really well. Once that's dried, I took a chip brush and that champagne colored paint, and I'm just dry brushing it on top so that it hits all of the parts that are sticking up. Now, I may have gone a little far or maybe didn't go far enough. I don't know. You tell me. But I just go over it. Now, you could do any color whatsoever. I could have done wax on this. I could have done a color, but I just thought this gold I thought it just matched. Now, for the other ones, I'm sanding. And I know this is where I'm making so many people either very happy or very mad, but it made me very happy. I loved it. So I just sanded just so that we could get those little highlight parts. Then I added little homespun ribbon tops to our jars because I thought it needed just a little bit more. And look at how adorable these are. I mean, come on. They're farmhouse, primitive looking. Oh, I love them so much. So much fun. Tell me in the comments, though, if you would have done something different. And if so, what would that be? Coming up next, we're going to make some snack plates that are made from window clings. And they're washable. You're welcome. Project, you're going to need some dishwasher safe Mod Podge. Yes, it has to be dishwasher safe if you want to wash this after. I'm using some daubers. I have these cute little snack plates, again from Dollar Tree. All of this came from Dollar Tree. And then I have these cute little window clings. So adorable. I love them. After doing this project, I feel like I would have made one change, but let's get to the project first before we talk about the changes I would have made. So I size up what the window cling would fit on the inside of that. See how it's just that flat part before it does that curve? I measure it, and then I add dishwasher safe Mod Podge to the back. Then I'm going to take my window cling and add it to the center. After that, we're going to make sure we get all of the air from underneath that window cling out. So for this, I'm just using my finger, but you also could use in the Dollar Tree beauty section, they have silicone makeup brushes. It's not a brush, it's just a silicone-like spatula almost. Using one of those, and I'll show you in the next plate, works like a charm. But anyways, this one I just use my finger, and then I take some more dishwasher safe Mod Podge and I put it on my dauber and I go all over the plate. I do the back. Now you want to make sure that your dauber is nice and saturated, because if it gets dry and you do it on the cling, it's going to pull it up. So make sure it's nice and saturated and wet so that it doesn't stick. Okay. And then again, you see I'm just dab, dab, dab all on the back. I dab it so that you can't see the circle though. Does that make sense? You don't want to dab it so hard that it makes a circle. You just want it to kind of be spattered. Ta-da! Now here, that spatula that I was telling you about, that silicone brush, that's what this is. And I just hold my finger in the center and I just press it out so that it gets all of the air out. Now I'm going to tell you also, you want to make sure that your image stays in that flat spot. If it doesn't and it goes over the edge, you run the risk of it popping up and breaking the seal, and then it won't, it'll come apart, and you don't want that. So just keep that in mind. Then we're going to do the same thing, same song, second verse on this one. We're just going to make sure we go over all of the back of the plate with our dauber, and it's nice and saturated with our dishwasher safe Mod Podge, and go over all of the back. Now, in the beginning, I told you I would have done something different. What I would have done differently, I think I would have tinted my dishwasher safe Mod Podge so it looked like snow. But that's just me. Anyways, let them dry. These are dry, and are you kidding? Look at how cute. Are you kidding? How cute is that? But do you see what I'm saying? Would that not have been adorable to have it like white so it looked like snow? Yeah, you could do it that way. Mine are already dry, so I'm done with this project. But I love them. These would be great for your table for the holidays, but you could also use these for gifts. Give them like cookies or snacks on it for whomever, your mail person or your neighbor or whatever. How fun. We have a super easy project coming up next. But before we get there, just a reminder, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the Crazy Pants DIY fun. So for this project, I have this glass candle holder from Dollar Tree. I have some Puffy paint. I have this LED candle, and I have some Epsom salt. You don't have to use Epsom salt, but it works. And then I have this little, it's like a bamboo skewer, but you could use a toothpick if you wanted. Now what I'm going to do is take my Puffy paint and just do one chunky line on the side, okay? Then I'm going to take our, again, toothpick or bamboo skewer, and we're going to start at the bottom, and we're going to go back and forth, back and forth. We're making a tree. So you're going to go back and forth, and go, like make your lines that you go back and forth, make those smaller as you go up. So it makes a tree, right? I'm not describing this. Words are so hard today. But you know what I'm saying, right? Like you're going to go wider to more narrow at the top so that it looks like a tree. Look how cute it is. What? Oh my gosh, I love it. And you're going to do this for each side. Now, I went one step further and I had these star brads. I think I got them on clearance somewhere. And I took my wire cutters and just cut the part, the brad part that attaches to whatever. I cut that off. Took my little hammer and hammered down the little piece that was left. And then we're going to take some hot glue and glue it to the top of our Christmas tree. Yes, I know. These are so much fun. Now, listen, I'm going to tell you, though, when you're doing puffy paint, you want to make sure, now see how it's really a thick line? If I were to put that so that it's up, like just set it like normal, it would drip. So just make sure when you do this, you want to either A, hit it with a heat gun a little bit so that it gets a little bit of a skin to it so it doesn't drip, or it's so thin that it doesn't have any option to drip. Does that make sense? So we did the same thing on each side I did. And you could get crazy with it. You could get really minimalist with it, whatever you want. Then I added a little hot glue dot to the very tippity top. And then I added our little brad star that we cut apart and, hammered flat. Look at how cute it is. What? Oh my gosh, it is so cute. Now, could you add little beads to this as well so it looks like little ornaments? Absolutely. But I was going for a little bit more minimalist, super easy kind of vibe. But again, you do you. This is like the starting point. I'm your idea girl. You take it from there, right? Run, Forrest, run. Sorry. Anyways, I digress. We did each 4 sides with our little star at the top. I love it. No, we're not going to stop there, though, because I can't. I'm going to add some Epsom salts. And if you added Epsom salts with a scent to it, even better. But I couldn't find any. So I put a little bit of Epsom salts in there, put my LED candle inside that. And look, now it looks like it's snow. Is that not fun? Oh, I love it. So much fun. Okay, coming up next, we're going primitive, wacky, whimsical, but super fun, and we can reuse the stuff later. It's going to be fine. All right, buckle up, friends. We have a wild project. It's a little wacky, but I think it came out really cool, so bear with me. For this project, we're going to use a plunger. It's a plunger, and it's brand new. Calm down. I also have this cute little barrel planter thing from Dollar Tree, and I have some homespun fabric from Jubilee Fabric that I'm obsessed with. I love it. This is a jelly roll, so they're just really long strips of fabric. So what I'm going to do is start at the bottom, and I'm just going to tie the jelly roll fabric to our plunger. And just side note, friends, it's a plunger, and it never is meant for the toilet. It is a sink plunger, just for clarity's sake. This one is brand spanking new, though, so don't worry. So anyways, so I'm going to go and just tie my fabric onto the plunger, and we're going to go from the bottom longer and go shorter and shorter and shorter all the way up. Does that make sense? Now, this is if you have commitment issues like I do. I have commitment issues. So I was a little skeeved out that I had to cut my fabric, but we're just tying it on so we can still use the fabric later. So this is a this is a very low commitment craft. But you'll see here I'm just tying, and I'm making the strips a little bit shorter each time so that it looks like a Christmas tree. Okay? Again, I warned you it's wacky and out there, but it's primitive and farmhouse, and I'm kind of there for it. So there's that. Anyway, so you'll see that's what we're going to do all the way up. Just keep tying and cutting them a little shorter and a little shorter. The nice thing was that this fabric that I got from Jubilee Fabric was in a jelly roll. So it's just all of these different patterns. So I just took one and then just kept alternating. Look at how fun this is, though. Are you kidding? Now, you are going to have a little space at the top. And I was like, how are we going to fix said space? Because I didn't have, what I thought would be one of those little spiral tree toppers. That would probably work. I didn't have one. I was going with what I had in my stash. So I thought, how could we fix this? Then I thought, wait a minute. I think I have some wooden stars in my stash. So stay tuned. We're going to use a wooden star, and it's going to be perfect. And I'm so excited how it worked out. But anyways, back to our tree. We did all the way up. Lovely. Now we're going to put this in that barrel, but you have to stabilize the barrel. You have to weight it, or else it's going to flop all over the place. And yes, I have a bucket. I don't know if you do too. I have a bowl that has all sorts of glass beads and stones, just random. So I just threw them in. No, you're not going to see it. It's fine. If you're concerned about it, put some Spanish moss on the top and you'll be fine. But listen, you can't see it. So I was like, let's just go all in. And now we have weighted and stabilized. So here's that wood star that I was telling you about. I painted it with, the color is, I think, gold champagne. Let it dry. Now I painted all sides, right? Both sides. Like there's so many sides. Both sides. Paint it, let it dry. Then I popped 2 holes with my crocodile in the center. And I wasn't even being fussy about how they got the holes on there. They're not even. It's fine. I took some wax. This is Dixie Belle wax. It's the black one, just to make it look a little junky. You could sand it, whatever. Then I added some jute, and we're going to tie it to the very tippity top of our thing. So now it covers that top of our plunger. What? Right? I am not mad. How wacky and fun and whimsical, and I just love it. Okay, coming up next, we're going to upcycle some of our fall decor into a beautiful Christmas present. So for this project, I'm using this piece of burlap. I got it from Ollie's. Tell me in the comments, do you have an Ollie's near you? They're brand new around me, and I'm obsessed. I love it. They have a great craft section. I also have some of this. It's just velvet ribbon from Michael's. Got it with a coupon. Don't get crazy. I also have some fairy lights that get stuck to everything. And then I also have this cute little sign that we've made for the fall. I'm going to pop off that stem that we did. Don't worry, we're going to save it because we'll use it for another project another time. Then I'm going to measure my little box to my burlap and just cut it. We're basically going to wrap the box like a present. Before we do that, though, you know where the stem was? We're going to put our fairy lights in through that hole, and we're going to just tape down the fairy lights. You'll notice the little switch for the fairy lights I'm leaving out, and we're going to just kind of sneak it in when we wrap it. You'll see. But I tape down all of it, make sure our fairy lights work. They do. Hallelujah. So then we're going to wrap this little sign. The part that says Fall Sweet Fall is going to be the back. I added some glue. And we're just going to, again, wrap it like a present. If you're not good at wrapping like me, I pray for you. I hope you'll pray for me because I hate wrapping. Tell me in the comments, do you like wrapping presents? I'm like, that's why God made gift bags. I'm just saying. But anyways, I'll wrap this because it's a project, not a gift. So that's fine. Anyway, so you see how I kind of left that little switch out? It was easy enough. Again, I just wrapped it like I would a gift. Then I'm going to take my ribbon and we're going to just do one strip in the center and we're going to glue that on. And then we're going to do one strip on the other side to, kind of do the cross thing. Now, if I were to do this again, which I won't because, again, I don't like wrapping presents and this felt like wrapping a present and I didn't like it. Didn't make me happy. The end made me happy, but wrapping doesn't. Anyways, if I were to do this again, I probably would put the bow on the outside on the front just because I think it would have looked more like a present, or in the very center of the ribbon. But that's neither here nor there. I did what I did. I stand by it. It's fine. But tell me in the comments if you would have done something differently because, I'm always happy to learn more things. Anyway, so again, we're just gluing, making sure everything's secure. Forgive if you haven't noticed, I have I have a bit of a cold and causes me to do a little of the clearing of the throat from time to time. Anyways, moving on. I'm using my Bodabra. No, I didn't read the directions. No, I don't know that I'm doing it right, but I'll do a loop and then I'll twist it and go on to the other side. And then I pull the whole thing off and use a zip tie in the center. Do I think that there's a different way to do the Bodabra? Yes. It would be helpful if I read directions, but I don't. I have no time for directions. It's fine. Tell me in the comments if you're the same way. So anyways, then I just took a little piece of that ribbon and did it in the center just so that it, covered up that zip tie. Then I put a dollop of glue at the very top, and then I add my bow to that. And friends, I'm not mad. Look at how cute that is. You just kind of adjust your bow so that it looks like a bow for a present, and adorable, right? But wait, when we turn off the lights, look at how cute that is. Coming up next, we're going to elevate those bottle brush trees into something a little bit more special. I got these little bottle brush trees from Michael's. I had a coupon. I also have some knobs. These are ones that they're not going to be used for knobs anymore because they're broken. And I also have some ribbon. You can get these bottle brush trees from Dollar Tree or almost anywhere, Dollar General. So what you're going to do is just untwist the bottom so that that little base comes off. Now I'm going to encourage you, friends, to get a knob that actually has a flat face. If you do a round one, they're going to flop and fall over. Ask me how I know that. Yeah. Anyways, so what I'm doing here is just kind of gauging how much the tree is going to stick out of the knob, and I just cut it down so that the knob kind of goes flush with the base of the tree. So then I'm going to take some hot glue and add it to the base, just that little part of metal that sticks out. Just be quick about it, though. If you do a lot, you're going to find it's going to start to drip. So you notice I'm like moving the thing around because see, it's dripping. It's fine. And then you're going to just put the knob on it. You could do all different kinds of knobs. I mean, Home Depot has crazy amounts of knobs where they're super inexpensive. I think Hobby Lobby does too. It's just so much fun. And it's just such a fun, easy way to elevate these bottle brushes so that it makes even, like it makes your display even more special. Be great for a tray. So there it is. Look at super cute, right? So then I took one of the ribbons that says Merry Christmas and I'm tying it to the very bottom of our tree. I did find that I had to occasionally adjust the tree so that the tree was bent a certain way to keep it upright. Again, because these knobs have a little bit of a rounded kind of face to it, they didn't stand as nicely as I had hoped, but they were in my stash. And I'm like, they're collecting dust. I might as well try. And so the bigger the brush, the more unstable it was. The smaller the brush, the easier it was to stay upright and be stable. So just, information for you, right? And so I'm just making sure my bow is nice and futzing, is that a word? Futzing with it? You know what I'm saying. But look at how cute this is. Are you kidding me? I love it. So cute. And I don't know, it makes it more special to me. And that was me just adjusting them. But here they are. Adorable. If I had done tiny, tiny ones, I bet those would look cute too. But anyways, look at how cute. Coming up next, we are going to make an adorable farmhouse cutting board, but for the holiday season. For this project, I'm going to use these napkins. I had gotten them at Marshall's. Yes, I paid the price. I have some brown wax from Dixie Belle, some regular Mod Podge. I have some little greenery pieces and berries. I have some, I wound up not using these, but you could use those to embellish. I also have some Rusty Bells and some scraps of fabric. Now I have this cute little, it's like a cutting mat. I didn't want to mess with the front, so I just flipped it over. If you want both sides to be done, by all means, go for it. I didn't care. So I'm doing half of my cutting board, half of it with Mod Podge. Let the Mod Podge dry. As that's drying, I have my napkin. I get it down to 1 ply. I wish there was a way that I could have figured out how to do it to keep that scalloped edge, because that was super cute. But alas, I adjust my napkin so that it fits onto my part that I did my Mod Podge, and then I added a piece of parchment paper on top of that and then ironed it. After I got done ironing it, I used my X-Acto knife to just cut off the excess. Is there a better way to do that? Probably. I just don't know it. So there's that. And then I sanded off the excess of the napkin after that. It sands off so much easier than cutting it, in my opinion. Then I take some wax and I just did the edges. And listen, I did every area that I possibly could, just because I like that junky look. If you don't like that look, don't do it, obviously. But I wound up doing the top, and I wanted to do where that little hole was for the cutting board. So again, I went to town distressing it, but again, not vital to the project. If you don't like it, it's fine. So then after that, I felt like that line needed something, so I added a piece of jute rope to the top of that, cut off the excess. Then I added some jute to the handle, because why not? I just wrapped it around many times and then glued it on the back. Nothing crazy. Then after that, I made a messy bow with my fabric scraps. This is just homespun fabric, and I'm just doing little tears. And what we're going to do is I did multiple patterns of fabric, and then I just kind of crisscross applesauce. Just make a cute little asterisk kind of thing. Then I took a piece of zip tie and put that on the center to cinch it together. Cut off the excess on that. Excuse me. Then I did some bells on some jute. I did 2 bells. You could do 3, 4, whatever you want. 1, none, whatever. I glued my little messy bow onto the top, and then I tied our little bells onto the top of that. And the nice thing is, see, our commitment phobic people like me, you can untie that and use it again. It's fine. Then I glued on some little sprigs of pine and a few of those little berries that I cut off of the main stem. And are you kidding? Look at how pretty that is. Could I have added more? Probably, but I love it. I think it's so pretty. So nice. Coming up next, we are going to make an adorable Christmas hat, but this one's going to be functional. We can put candy in it. So for this project, you're going to be using, I don't want to say it's a vase. I don't know what this is. It's like a little glass something. I also have this cute little, I think you put candles on this. I have some pieces of greenery and berries. I have some heavy duty adhesive. I also have some multi-surface black paint. And then I have a dauber, and then I have some ribbon, or later I wound up doing a piece of fabric instead. So what I'm going to do is just go around the glass part just on the outside, and I'm using my dauber with my multi-surface black paint and just going over just the outside. I did not even do the bottom, just the sides. Ta-da! Then we're going to do the same thing with the black. Sorry, not the black. Words are hard. No, the same thing we're going to do with the plate for candles. You're going to do the black on the back of that. Then we're going to take our heavy duty adhesive. I'm using Aleene's because I can't use E6000, and put a nice healthy dot of that on the front part of your plate. Then we're going to add some hot glue to the back of our, whatever that vase thing is. And then we're going to glue it to the center of our plate. I'm calling it a plate, but it's like a candle holder or whatever. So there it is. Is it off? Probably. But look at how cute, right? Then I decided that I wanted to add some more paint to the plate part because the shiny part didn't match with the matte of the top part. So I just went around with a dauber and did that. I use a dauber because it gives a nice texture and it also avoids brush strokes. So that's why I do it. Anyway, so again, all I'm doing is just going around the bottom, doing the whole bottom part. The reason why I didn't do the bottom of our vase and the top of the plate was because glue adheres way better when you don't have the paint there. So, all right, then I tied a piece of homespun fabric around the mid part, and we could stop right there. Look how pretty that is, right? But then I added some, excuse me, then I added some greenery and some little berries. And then I went one step further and added a cute little star. It's like a little rusty star. I get mine from Amazon. But we're just going to glue those things on. And I am so excited. Like, so cute, right? The thing that I'm so excited also about, not only because it looks adorable, but it's functional. We could put nuts in it. We could put, you could give this as a gift and put cookies in it. What? I know. So much fun. I love it. I think it's adorable. It's functional. And I think it's the gift that keeps on giving. Anyways, friends. Well, there you go. 10 super easy, fun, budget-friendly projects that you can make, all from Dollar Tree stuff. We've elevated them, and I don't know about you, but it just puts me in the Christmas spirit. So yay! Anyways, friends, thank you so much for being here. Don't forget, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and that bell notification so you don't miss out on any of the Crazy Pants DIY fun. Friends, I appreciate you being here so much. Now it's your turn. Go make something pretty.